You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense.
Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast that's suitable for all ages from 2 and everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and this week, listeners, I am putting safety first. That's right, I'm wearing a bicycle helmet because I read, I don't know if you've read this, that you have to put on a cycle helmet before riding a bike. And so I thought, well, I'm not currently riding a bike, so I guess that means it's always before I ride a bike, isn't it? Right? It also doesn't really tell you when to take the helmet off after riding a bike, so I guess it's probably just safest to have the helmet on at all times, just in case. Better to be sorry about being safe. No, wait, hang on. Better to be sorry for safe being. No, that's not. Linda, what's the phrase again, Linda? Better to be safe, not sorry. That is it. Hang on. What if I bump into someone with my head, which keeps me safe because of my helmet, but then I have to be sorry I've bumped into them? Then it's better to be safe and also to be sorry. But maybe I need to carry a second helmet for anyone I might bump into. Where would I find another helmet around here? My knee! This helmet has not protected my knees from bumping into tables. My head was fine, but my knees, I'm going to need some sort of knee guards to stop that ever happening again. Can you get those? Knee guards? Sounds like a thing that's real. Let me look it up. Here you go. And I can order it from our special super speed shouting delivery service called Jeffrey. But it's pronounced Jeffrey because it's one loud man called Jeffrey.
Knee guard delivery!
Thanks, Jeffrey. Please deliver it carefully this time. That landed right on my hand.
Don't forget to give me a review on Google or trustingsusan.com.
Jeffrey is the worst. But I suppose better to be safe than sorry, and I guess I'm going to have to get some sort of hand guards to protect me from that ever happening again. Here you go, hand guards. They're called gloves. Gloves? Interesting. Well, either way, I'm going to have some of those.
Gloves delivery!
No, Jeffrey, wait! That hit me in the eye.
Don't forget to give me a review on what.net or lovelybees.
Jeffrey! There must be some kind of clever eye guarding device to stop that from happening again. I'll have a little look with the one eye that kind of works. Sorry, it's very hard to type with gloves on and with only one working eye. It's really, really hard. Here you go. Safety goggles. Softy goggles. Yes, I'll have 15 pairs of them. Ooh, turbo delivery, sure.
Safety goggles delivery.
Okay, Jeffrey, please just put them carefully by the door. What is that? Why am I on fire, Jeffrey?
Don't forget to give me a review on I've got sandworms in my bum.uk or irritedmongoose.clive.
What was it you have to do? Stop, drop and have a roll. I don't have any rolls. I'm really hungry. Well, if I stop and I drop... that's done it. I'm really going to need some sort of heavy-duty fireproof outfit to stop that from ever happening again. But before I order that, don't forget, listeners, if you have a question you need to have answered, or you want to send in anything else at all, jokes, messages, what safety gear you wear, your favourite list of bees, anything at all, please do get your nearest boring Normans, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. And, of course, you can also give us a nice review at Apple Podcasts or Castbox, and I see all of those, or you can reply to any of the episodes on the Spotify Q&A. And do also check out comedyclubforkids.co.uk to find out where our live shows are near you. And, sorry, I've still got the gloves on, only one of my eyes is really working. Safety first, typing second, eating a sandwich third. Now I really want a sandwich. Fireproof suit. Oh, I can get it a mega atomic time traveling warp speed delivery. Okay, listeners, before I order this, maybe you should all listen to this most importantest bit. What a delight to have joining me today on Radio Nonsense none other than Kathy Rivett, aka the inventor of shells, all of the shells, peanut to tortoise and everything in between. Kathy, I'm so excited to have you on the show. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. It was really quite tricky finding time in my schedule because I have been very busy with the shells, as you know. But great to be here.
Well, I mean, no, like, I'm so grateful that you have that time. I was under the assumption that you've invented a lot of the shells, but you're still inventing more shells?
Yeah. You think that that's a one-time job? You think that the shell is a one-time gig that you don't go back to?
Well, I don't want to, oh my goodness, I don't want to offend, and I didn't assume that. I was wondering what else, are there more things that still need shells? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know if you know, but mermaids are being born every day. I don't know if you know this, and they need to cover up. Basically, they don't want to go out naked, so that someone needs to be in charge of managing the production line. That's the boring adult words, but I manage the production line of shells for mermaids these days. That's what I'm doing now.
I see. Do you know? And I'm so sorry. I didn't even think that. Of course, mermaids need shells as a sort of form of clothing or armor, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of animals. Armor.
They're very, very, very violent. You don't.
Right. That's all right. Okay.
You don't want to get like late shells from it. They're very, very violent. If you disappoint them.
Wow. That's hard then. So you need shells that are durable. They can withstand attacks from other shells.
Zaps. So zaps, yes. So you know those fish that are in like the really deep part of the sea with the little lights on their head?
Yes.
Yeah, they're actually zappers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, they have a really long running situation with fish where with mermaids, sorry, where they really don't like each other. They hate each other.
Wow.
And they try and zap the mermaids, is what these fish do. And what the mermaids do is they point at them and laugh back and say, "You've got a light on your head," and then they carry on zapping and it keeps going.
I mean, that's I have to say, I feel like the mermaids have been a bit harsh there. I don't know how you would feel. I'd quite like a light on my head. There's a number of times when it would really help with reading at night or
head torch.
Yeah.
Have you seen those hats that have the inbuilt light attachment?
Yes. Right? Amazing.
I think they're just jealous of the fish.
Yeah. Well, I think so. But then, it's so useful. That fish lives in the dark and it's got a light on its head, right? I wish I evolved to live better in my surroundings. I suppose I live in a flat. I'm trying to think what I'd need.
Can you reach your top shelf?
No, I can't. No, you're right. I can't. Yes, I need.
So you should have an inbuilt stepladder in your feet, essentially.
Yes, or like sort of extendable stilt legs.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. See, this is I live near a busy road. If I could sort of like have kind of legs that mean I can stretch and just walk over the road.
That would be brilliant. Yeah. But so you are less adapted than the deep sea fish with lights on their heads.
Aren't they like prehistoric fish as well? Like they did it ages ago.
Yeah, they did it before it was cool. They had head torches before the invention of the AA battery.
I mean, that's so... And they're rechargeable, aren't they? They're like sustainable because they don't have to plug themselves in or anything like that.
Yeah.
I hope.
I don't know, actually. I'll ask the mermaids when I see them next time if they've ever seen a fish plug itself in.
Yeah, because I worry, like, and just, it's important for listeners as well, like safety. Like, you shouldn't plug a plug in water. Like, that feels like an incredibly dangerous thing to do. So
no, definitely, yeah. So I think, they must be quite eco-friendly then, these fish.
Yeah. I feel like I wonder if before those ones came ones that use batteries or petrol, and they've then
Yeah.
evolved into being the electric fish.
Diesel. Probably diesel first,
diesel
yeah.
fish.
And then current economy became too expensive to run them, so they had to adapt.
Yes. Wow. And that's, so, then this comes back to the point that if you ask me, and I know no one is, Kathy, and I appreciate that this is your field of expertise, not mine, but I feel like mermaids mocking these incredibly sustainable, eco-friendly, adaptable fish, they kind of deserve to get zapped.
Well, I think just going back to the mermaids, I think it's from quite an insecure, deep down place, literally deep down under the sea. But I think the mermaids, they're not going to listen to this. But I think they're deeply sad.
Yeah.
And they feel stuck under the sea, a bit like Ariel. So
I see.
What else do you have to do except laugh at fish with lights on that? What would you do if you were a mermaid in that situation? What are you doing with your day?
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Because you can't, like we've discussed, you can't have electricity, so you can't have any screens down there. That would be awful. There's only so many sandcastles you can build, and under the sea they'll just disappear.
It's quite tricky, yeah.
Yeah, there's really not.
I mean, do they've got a bit of a history. Like, I don't get me wrong, I love the mermaids, but they do have quite a bad rep in history. Like the whole sitting on rocks and singing to sailors, because that wasn't they weren't singing because they were nice, they were doing that to be nasty.
Yeah.
I do think mermaids have quite a dark history, so it's sort of like why I make the shells for the mermaids isn't necessarily because I want to, it's because I'm scared of them.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's awful. That's awful to hear. But I mean, I wanted, well, in fact, actually, before we get to this, I wonder, because I do want to ask a question, but I just want to go back. Why aren't mermaids listening to this? I mean, this, again, doesn't make me take their side. I feel like if they, anyway, that's on them, but they should be having a listen in, and they'd probably learn something, and then you might
Unicorns are.
Oh, that's
unicorns
good. That's
listening.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
The unicorns are, because they have access to podcast platforms, but the mermaids don't. They can't take their phones down into the sea because it's too moist in the sea.
And there is that thing as well, isn't it? And I don't know what they'd use as headphones, but you're in this industry. If you put a shell to your ear, all you hear is the sea.
Yeah.
And actually, that must get quite annoying if you do want to listen to a podcast.
Yeah, especially if it's an out-of-sea production. They can use their shells to listen to in-sea productions. Like, I think, if I remember right, crabs produce quite a lot of podcasts. Crabs are really on it in the podcast game, yeah. Right. Well as seahorses, really, really on it in that industry. But yeah, the mermaids can only listen to in-sea production podcasts.
Wow. Well, I was going to ask about the crabs because hermit, like this is why your job is so versatile. Is I said sort of shells, and people think shells, but you've got them armor for mermaids. Hermit crabs, they're like their homes. You're basically interior design, but now it turns out they're podcast studios as well. Right.
Yeah, they're quite. It's sort of my job working with crabs. I'm sort of more like an estate agent with them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I had to add higher value to the shells, so I thought I would call a few of them podcast studios, and it's actually been great for the crab economy because, as I say, so many crabs with podcasts these days.
That's amazing. What do you know? I might be putting you on the spot here, but what's the most popular crab podcast?
Crabcast,
right? So straight up, just about all things crab, is it? Or
yeah, it's sort of about a crab's perspective on the modern world.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I'll be honest, crabs have some opinions that I don't agree with.
Oh.
I don't like all of the crab media produced. But as I say, the mermaids, I don't always get along with them, but they love it. They love the crabcasts.
Wow, there's a crossover between mermaids who are quite miserable and scary and mock fish, and the crabs who
make the podcast
in the. This is quite toxic. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I thought that the natural sea environment would be calm, quite peaceful. You know, we look at it as thriving with nature, something that we have to save. And the more I'm talking to you, I think next time I go to the sea, I might just throw my rubbish in it.
That is actually propaganda by David Attenborough.
Right, okay, right.
Yeah, the sea's a nice place. That's David Attenborough's mission to try and tell you that. It's more
Wow.
of a cult parts of it are, I'd say.
Wow, this sounds terrible. Well, that's it. I'm not paddling again. You've really put me off paddling today.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's important. It's important you teach people the truth and you get it out there. And I mean, at the same time, we don't want to jeopardize your industry.
Yeah, I know. I say that myself. I am a huge part of the, as I say, crab estate agent, mermaid, shell maker, but it's sort of, I don't necessarily agree with what I do as my profession, but I accept it.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Sometimes, you get a job and you gotta keep going and make a living, and that's just the
keep
industry
working
you're
for
in.
the man.
Yeah, or the merman. Yeah.
Yeah, or David Attenborough, who is a merman, as I'm sure
right,
you know.
so he's a merman as well, right?
Yeah.
I have to say, as a merman, he's really gone out of his league there. Like, he's gone up mountains, he's gone to jungles, and
yeah, I'd say he is the most, not the most, maybe the second most successful merman in the media, I think.
First one is
King Charles.
Right, wow. Wow. My goodness. I mean, Kathy, I have to say, I was very excited about you coming on the show today. I didn't realise quite how many revelations there would be. This is big news,
sorry. Yeah, he's a merman. Yeah.
Wow. Is that
also Andy Murray, but he's not been as busy recently.
No, that makes more sense to me. I sort of feel like there are times when he's on the court, like playing tennis, or when he has been, obviously he's retired now, where I'm like, wow, that he basically swam across the court to get that ball, and I get that.
His tail also, that gives it away.
The tail. Yeah, that's right. The fact that whenever between sets they sort of have to feed him a load of flakes.
Yeah,
that's
everyone
strange,
else goes for bananas, but he doesn't normally.
No, always lots of flakes. Very weird. Is that also when he does those really long poos? They're just sort of stuck to his bum, and he leaves it there while playing and stuff. It's very weird.
It's quite disgusting, but it is. Yeah, I do know Andy Murray and King Charles and Attenborough from my work.
Wow! I can't believe you've made the king's armor. That's quite impressive. Out of shells. Yeah.
Right. That was. I'd say that was probably the best gig I've got with the job so far. The king's armor.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, Kathy. I mean, look, and listen. I was very. I asked you on this show because I'm very impressed by what you do, and I think you're an incredible person. But this is really. I mean, wow. This is next level stuff. So thank you so much for taking the time to come on this show. And I do have a question that I do really need your help to answer. I think you're the person that can answer it.
Right.
But before we get there, I'm afraid I do have a couple of admin questions that legally I have to ask you on this show. How do you feel about that? Is that okay?
That's quite all right. Don't want to break the law.
Oh, that's good. No, I'm pleased. The first of these questions is very simply, I think you're probably aware, but this podcast is for all ages, any age you can imagine, Ice Age, Middle Ages, 7, 407, every age. And so just to make sure that we keep this show completely family friendly, I wondered if there are any rude words you won't be saying.
I've got a rude phrase that I won't be saying.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Please. Yeah.
I feel bad. Tea towel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know? Wow.
It's really horrible.
That is horrible, isn't it? And it was weird. As you started to say it, I thought tea. I like a cup of tea. Then you threw the towels in at the end. I felt it made me shudder.
Sick. Yeah, it's horrible. Some people put these tea towels on their wall as well.
That's why.
I don't know. I think they say they look nice, but if you're going to have one in the house, put it in a drawer and say no more. Don't put it on the wall. Here's
the thing, right? Is that I don't know, who is having a bath in tea? Who is needing to? Why do you need to dry tea? Like towels are for drying stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, there was one time when don't tell anyone, but it was when King Charles was trying to keep his identity as a mermaid under wraps.
Right.
So merman, sorry. So what King Charles had to do was he couldn't have access to the ocean or a bath to swim in, but people he's got lots of assistants, and they kept making him cups of tea.
Right.
So what he did was he ended up hiding all of his cups of tea, all of the mugs, and then just when no one was looking, ended up pouring them all over himself.
Wow. What an
Yeah,
image.
and then
Wow.
and then we had to dry him because that's part of my job.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Your job is there's a lot to your job, I have to say.
I'm very busy. I can't
Yeah.
believe I had time to do this.
Yeah, me either. No.
Yeah, but I had to help him dry off with a tea towel, and it's sort of that's something that you'll never unsee.
No.
Drying King Charles with a tea towel.
Wow.
Sorry, I said it again. And it's really evoked some bad memories for me, that has.
I'm not surprised, and I mean the fact that you had to dry King Charles's bum with a tea towel is like that is horrible, and you know, wow, you've seen a lot, and I mean the very word tea towels makes me feel a bit sick, despite it being comprised of two words I quite like. You know, and I fully appreciate that you wouldn't say tea towel on the show, and I would definitely never say tea towel on the show.
I wouldn't say tea towel, no.
No, absolutely not. Even souvenir. I wouldn't say souvenir tea towel. I don't think.
No, that would be traumatic.
It would be traumatic. No. Yeah. Local tea towel by local artists, particularly upsetting.
Oh, don't talk to me about local artists or tea towels.
That's also
for that matter. Two of the worst things put together. Local artists that they're creating work and they think it's good enough to put on the most foul piece of fabric.
It's disgusting. Makes me feel sick.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, you know,
another bad one.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand why mermaids wouldn't listen to the show now. You know, it's that sort of. Yeah.
They're very aloof, mermaids are, and they didn't think that this show was aloof enough.
That's fair. I understand. I appreciate Kathy that you wouldn't say tea towel or local artists, and I definitely wouldn't be caught saying them on a show such as this. Thank you. The other admin question, I do have to ask you this, and I don't know if, how you'll find this, but please take your time. This is big, Kathy. This is big. Would you rather every time you yawned, a whole goat leapt out of your mouth, or every time you cried, fish fell out of your eyes?
Well, as I say, I'm often in the sea.
Oh yeah, of course.
But then you do have to think: if I was crying, would overpopulation in the sea be an issue? If fish are screaming out of my eyes, you've got to consider this. And working in an industry such as for the mermaids, which some of them are horrible, I cry quite regularly in the workplace. Sorry
to hear that. Yeah.
I don't. But then, can goats swim?
I don't know. You get the my star sign is a Capricorn. That's a half goat, half fish. It's like a mergoat. So maybe it's like maybe they could swim if you yawned and a mergoat came out.
Mergoat. Yeah. There's what's that? There's that one thing that people go for excursions to swim with. Is that swimming with goats or no dolphins?
Dolphins,
is it?
Yes.
Dolphins. Okay,
yeah, but they're similar. But they're like dolphins are kind of like sea goats, right? Because you get sea cows. Yeah, I think manatees are sea cows, so I guess dolphins must be sea goats.
Yeah, dolphins, the goat of the sea.
That's what they call them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could. I don't want to turn everything into a business, but I think you could monetize swimming with mergoats. If I'm in the sea a lot, which I am, and I'm yawning because I'm tired because I've got the mermaids bossing me around all the time.
Yeah,
I think if I yawn and a goat comes out, I could get a customer over and say, "Look, it's swimming with goats time, mergoats, sorry," and then ask them for £25, 25 million. Yes.
Wow! Oh wow! Okay, you suddenly changed. I really thought £25 that's very reasonable, but then you added the million.
Yeah.
That's suddenly it's very expensive, especially as you're producing the goats for free just by yawning. So you're
Yeah.
getting a lot of
I'm an
profit.
awful business. I'm a very good.
No, you're very
business.
good, very shrewd. Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I'd say my question is, and I don't know. Yeah, now you work under the sea a lot, so maybe you just hold your breath. But if you have a scuba mask or something, and then you yawned, and then a goat came out, you'd be in real trouble.
That would be very stressful. Oh, I don't know what because you'd have to take the mask out, or would the goat maybe somehow come out wearing its own scuba? I don't know.
But it would be stuck in your mask. You'd have to
Yeah,
remove the mask to let it out.
and then swim up. Yeah, that's why I'm being paid £25 million.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the
yeah.
risks. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta accept this, and I can't. If I am gonna be tired, I have to make sure mask is off, ready for a goat to exit my mouth, and then I need to then swim up to the top, and then probably spit out some of the seawater and not ghost.
Oh no,
goat,
there's ghosts as
not
well.
ghost. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well,
What happened to the goat? Yeah.
They don't make it. Not
That's
all of
very
them.
sad. This is awful. How upsetting. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trauma with the goat, but I still like that's still your choice as opposed to releasing more fish into the sea.
Yeah, I think we don't want to get it too crowded down there.
No, that's fair. Well, that's fair. Hey,
So instead we're putting goats in.
That's good. That's great. I really like your thinking, Kathy. I really appreciate that you have taken this question as seriously as it needs to be taken. And
It's very serious.
It's very serious, and I think good luck with your swimming with dead goats business, with drowned goats. Yeah, I think that's I think it'd be incredibly popular.
I would go because like sometimes you go paddling in a stream and you'll see like I don't know a sheep's skull at the quite close. You think
Right.
it just makes the experience more authentic.
Yes, I do. I'm very concerned about where you're paddling, but I think that I don't I don't know where I've been paddling where I've seen the skulls of various animals, but I think you're right. Maybe it just sort of makes it more of an exciting. It's like a cross between the London Dungeon and a swimming
and a goat sanctuary
all at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a gap in the market there. So fair enough. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kathy. Right. Well, listen, we're here. We're at the big question. I'm going to read this out to you in one because there's a lot of things that we need to break down from this question. I very much need your help in answering it and I think understanding it. First up, this question, I'll read it out in one go. This question says, "Hi, I am Linda and I live under your bed and in your garden. Also, your shoes are smelling. Question, what would happen if you trapped your granny in your wardrobe for 3 years? Bye, Izzy." Now, firstly, they've signed it Izzy, which either means they're saying bye to Izzy, and Izzy is there, and perhaps this question is for Izzy and not for us at all, or they are Izzy, but they've pretended to be Linda, and they can't be Linda because Linda's not turned up for work in 7 years.
Shame.
Yeah, so I don't know who you think this question is from, but...
So either Linda or Izzy?
Yes, but it's signed Izzy, but they've said they are Linda, and they live under my bed and in my garden, and also my shoes are smelling, which I think is frankly none of their business and something I've tried to deal with using those insoles, but it doesn't work. So I'm quite hurt about it.
Under my, I don't really have a gap under my bed, so
yeah, neither do I actually. Yeah, that's a good point.
It'll have to be someone very, very small, like Flat Stanley. I don't know if that reference is too old. Maybe I think
it's a solid reference, and I think most of the listeners know Flat Stanley, but Flat Stanley was a boy who was squashed away a wardrobe, which is already very concerning, but somehow he survives and then becomes like as flat as a piece of paper. Which
his parents neglect him a bit because they put him in the postal service.
They put him in the post, which in the post is rubbish now. So it takes such a long time, especially over Christmas. He could get lost. It's very sad.
And they may as well get a plane ticket. I posted something yesterday, and it was only small, and it cost me about £5. I think you could get a plane for. I think you can get planes to Ireland from the UK for about £20. You may as well just spend out.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
if he's flat, you could fold him into a paper airplane shape and throw him into the wind.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, so that's even. Yeah, well, I'm gonna. I don't want to call our question asker I wouldn't say a liar, a sort of a riddler. I don't know, but I think if they've signed it Izzy, and
maybe they're not Linda.
I just think they're not Linda, but then if they're not Linda and they are Izzy, then I'm worried about what they're trying to ask with this question. That's what I'm saying. If you're starting by pretending you're someone else, why are you? If you're asking us then what would happen if you trapped your granny in your wardrobe for 3 years, I'm just worried this is Izzy pretending not to be Izzy because Izzy has trapped her granny in her wardrobe. It's now been nearly 3 years and she's wondering what the consequences are.
It's very much the vibe of asking for a friend.
Yes, that's exactly what I was...
Clearly... Yeah. Asking for a friend. What would you do if my granddad was in my sock drawer? Because not that that's an issue for me, but he could be in my sock drawer for the last 6 years and he might be really struggling, but I have been dropping some digestive biscuits in there. What would you do asking for a friend?
It's got that
seems
100%.
a similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree. And in which case, this is quite an urgent question because, I mean, I don't know how you feel if we're assuming that we're perhaps towards 3 years. Maybe it's been 3 years already. It's nearly 3 years.
So what was the question? Was it what should we do or what will Grandma be doing?
No, well, it's what would happen if you trapped your granny in your wardrobe for 3 years.
Not that has happened.
No, but I'm concerned that Granny is already there.
I think that you could get in quite a lot of trouble. I hate to be sensible, but I think the police might be interested in something like that. But that's not happened yet, and it isn't happening. But yeah, I think it's quite concerning if your grandma's been stuck. Stuck implies that she's not allowed to leave, and this isn't a choice thing from Grandma.
Yeah, she's used the word trapped, which for me, because if it said, what if your grannies decide to live in your cupboard for 3 years, then you're thinking, well, that's Granny's choice. And, why not? Because sometimes you just think, maybe I will just sit in a cupboard and in my wardrobe and I don't have to do all the boring stuff anymore, like go to the shops or, do the school run.
I used to do that, actually, when I was watching the film Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and the child catcher would come on.
Terrifying,
I would run in and sit in the wardrobe for approximately 2 hours.
That's great. You see,
I'd miss. Yeah. I'd miss the film, so I've never watched the whole.
You wouldn't know what happens to the. Yeah. Which is it is quite a way of shunning your problems, I suppose. But but again, you chose to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas this granny is trapped in the wardrobe.
What? I don't know. I think there's probably quite a bored granny in Izzy's wardrobe. Do you think she's been feeding her some rich tea biscuits and crosswords, or is she just?
I mean, also because if it's Izzy's wardrobe, she's going to have to open it now and then to get clothes out, right?
Yeah, what's she doing when she opens it? Is she acknowledging Grandma, or is she just pretending Grandma's not there?
It'd be really odd if you open it and hello, please help me. Like, just grab a t-shirt.
Go away.
Please help me. Yeah, that'd be awful. Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you think Granny's okay in there? I mean, it's because Izzy's asked what would happen. Would Granny just carry on living her life, or?
It very much depends if Granny's being fed, which I'm hoping Granny is being fed. But that would change the end scenario based on that. But assuming Granny has been fed and watered and anything else she needs, I think if you let her out, you just have quite a very, very angry Gran with maybe some what are they called? I've forgotten the word. Clothes moths? That's not what I mean.
Clothes moths?
Clothes moths?
Yeah, the ones that eat clothes.
Yeah, ones.
Those. Yeah, I don't know what type of
Yeah.
moths they are. I'm laughing because I'm like I moth.
What's the word? Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you
I
mean. Though
think
they're
that
the ones that eat clothes. Yeah,
Well, what I'm saying is she might have become one of them.
she might have started
'Cause
nibbling at clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, and she might have been socialized with so many other clothes moths or butterflies, that she just she's been socialized with them, and then she starts talking clove moth language, which is very similar to French. I
Oh,
don't know if you know.
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
It is, yeah, and they all wear berets. But that's beside the point. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think Granny might come out with wings, antennae, and a huge craving for eating clothes,
Wow. Wow.
and probably quite angry at Izzy.
I suppose if she's quite angry, you could turn a little light on, and then she'll just go and flap around that for a bit.
Oh yeah, that's a real. You could get the fish back. You could get a pet,
Yeah,
pet fish with a light on his head. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
nice.
then
That's nice.
and then grandma would make friends with that fish, and then who needs a granddaughter anymore if you've got a fish you get on with?
And you've got a pet lanternfish and a pet grandma moth, and that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's quite fun.
Yeah, and then you've only got to feed one electricity and the other one old clothes, so it's quite
And as we
easy.
say, the fish are sustainable. They produce their own electricity.
Yes, of course. So you don't even need to plug them in. Yeah, of course.
Just got to get some. Just go to the charity shop once a week. Get some clothes for grandma.
Nice.
I've heard they love dressing gowns.
Yes, yes, cardies.
Yeah,
good cardies.
Yes, hand knitted preferably. But you can't be too picky in this economy.
Yes, no, absolutely. Kathy, I want to throw a slight spanner in the works with this, though. I just want to ask, because I don't know Izzy's situation. I don't know where she lives. I don't know what her wardrobe is like. But I do remember reading about a wardrobe that also had a lion and a witch in it.
Oh, yes. So I think that Granny might have had quite a lot of fun with, if there's a lion and a witch in it. It depends if it's a fierce lion, which, if I remember right, in Narnia, he's quite nice.
The lion's nice. The witch is awful. Yeah.
Oh yes, she eats lots of Turkish delight and force feeds that. Yeah. So what might have happened? No. What might have happened is she's formed a cult with the lion and the witch in the wardrobe.
Right.
Or maybe they've just invited an author round. Grandma might have thought, this feels like a sequel, and then hired an author to come round and sit in the wardrobe. Yeah.
So she could be very successful. It could be the granny, the lion, the witch, and the granny in the wardrobe.
Yeah. And it doesn't go to Narnia. You walk through and it just goes to, I don't know, a bingo or a WI meeting.
Wow, what a magical journey.
Yeah, and you have an hour of bingo, and then you go to WI and someone tells you off about your jam, and then you go back into the wardrobe and carry on eating dressing gowns.
Gosh, that's magical. I mean, do you know what I like about this, Kathy? Is this is the reason I had to ask you to come on, because I think at the beginning of this question I was genuinely quite worried for Izzy's granny, or Izzy's friend's granny, or whatever, you know, we might suppose from the question, Linda's granny.
Linda,
yeah, but by the end I'm now feeling very hopeful. We've either got a brand new grandma moth, or we've got a very successful grandma living in a magical wardrobe that leads directly to bingo. So it's a pretty nice outcome.
I don't think Izzy needs to be worried. If I were Izzy, I would keep her in there another year. See if Granny can start production of a film or a series, maybe.
Oh, that's lovely.
So I think she's got gold dust on her hand there.
Wow, maybe we should all be putting our grannies in our wardrobes a bit more often. That's
yeah. I'll ring mine after this recording, see if she can squeeze in.
That's nice. That's nice. Well, good luck with that. Well, listen, actually, because I was going to ask you, Kathy, thank you so much for your help, by the way. Thank you so much for taking time in between all your shell work to come on this show. I was going to ask, what have you got coming up in the next 8 to 9 years? Obviously, you're going to trap a granny in the wardrobe. You've got more mermaid armor.
More mermaid stuff. Yeah. I was actually looking at learning juggling maybe in the next 8 to 9 years.
Right, okay.
Yeah, juggling fish.
Oh, wow, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, because I need some more things to do while I'm in the sea, and the fish are a bit bored because the lack of opposable thumbs means that the fish really struggle to get access to the podcasts. So the ones that don't have hands or claws, so they often are saying, Kathy, we need something to do, and naturally I was like, oh, I'll juggle you, but then I remembered I couldn't juggle, so I am going on a juggling retreat.
Wow, is that where you run away from you retreat from jugglers, or you?
Yeah, which is a bit counterproductive. Really.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So whenever I see a juggler for the next 8 to 9 years, I'm just going to shut my eyes and run. Brilliant. And see wherever I can go, and then see whether I naturally pick up juggling.
Wow, well, what a fantastic! You're an inspiration, Kathy, and I really appreciate you coming on the show with your very wise words and your incredible worldly revelations. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much to Kathy Rivett for having time to answer Izzy's question, despite her incredibly busy schedule making armour for mermaids and King Charles. Izzy, or Linda, I hope you liked your answer, but if you do have any complaints, why not tell them to your granny, who'll never be able to pass them on because she's trapped in your wardrobe, and so I'll never have to hear them. If you have a question that you need to have answered, or you want to send in anything else at all, please get your nearest boring Normans, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. You can also give us a nice review at Apple Podcasts or CastBox, and as I said before, reply to any of the episodes on the Spotify Q&A. Okay, listeners, I've now managed to order so much safety gear that I am covered head to toe in it. I mean, I can't really move very much. I'm very, very heavy. I'm very warm. But it does mean that when I next get a delivery from Jeffrey, I should be prepared and I won't go on fire and nothing will get hurt or damaged. And, I really need to order something to eat because all this ordering and not having a roll or a sandwich has got me very, very hungry. Sorry, it's very hard to type with 12 protective jackets, a boiler suit, a fireproof suit, 4 layers of ear protectors, lead boots, goggles, armoured vests, ski gloves, armoured gloves, knight's gloves, chainmail and an inflatable suit on, as just a few of the things I'm wearing. Sandwich. Right, and I can get that sent by delivery that is so fast it rips apart the fabric of the universe. Does that cost any extra? Oh, it's free. Okay, then sure, I'll do that, I guess. Right, well, I'd better just pull the final layer of protective gear over my mouth before it comes, just in case.
Sandwich delivery! Don't forget to review me on 12livelydustbins.whale or spicyarmchairs.wholemealflour.
You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents. Radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense. It's the end.